Comparing the lives of the people before and now will make anyone realize the changes that happened in society. Not just in terms of culture, language, or rights, but more importantly, changes in people's way of life due to the existence of science and technology. The term, generation gap, is attributed mainly to the changes brought about by technology. Although the original idea is for technology to help everyone, it cannot be denied that until today, not everyone is comfortable in using the different kinds of technologies. Mostly those who belong to the older generation think that these technologies are too complicated to operate. They have been used simple living in the past, and these available technological devices, though very appealing, are a difficult puzzle to them. However, this gap is not something to be worried about. This does not in any way make technology a villain. Instead, it is a challenge for people in the field of science and technology to make these technological advancements more accessible and less confusing for people who are not as young anymore. This is also a challenge for the younger generation to take the older generation to an exciting journey in science and technology. In this way, everyone can experience what it is like to live with ease and comfort because of the availability of modern technology. Even before, people are already fascinated with science and technology. This fascination led to numerous magnificent inventions that people in the present are able to enjoy and benefit from. Through science and technology, people get to experience what it really means to live because it helps people in more ways than one. People who lived in the past and people who are living in the present all have different views of what it means to flourish, primarily due to the kind of environment and the period one is in. People's way of life and how the society works also affect how one construes the concept of human flourishing. The environment need to be assessed in order to know the possibility of human flourishing and to what extent it is possible. Since there have been drastic changes in people's way of life, it can be inferred that there have been drastic changes not only in the conception of human flourishing but to people's actual human condition. These changes were brought about by the interplay of different factors, but essentially, it was brought about by science and technology. Humanity has indeed come a long way from our primitive ways, and as a general rule, it is said that we are more developed than we were before. Above that are a few indicators of the route that we have come to take as species, and there are no signs of stopping. Modern humans are reliant on technology in their search for the good life. We see ways and means from nature to utilize and achieve growth, a goal that we believe would bring forth betterment. In retrospect, this view of technology proves to be a goal-oriented. It assumes that it is instrumental in achieving a goal in mind, that it is a purposeful, deliberate craft humans steer in order to reach some greater good. In the advent of postmodernism, however, the deterministic view appended to technology crumbled as people began to question if anything is deterministic at all. Apart from its purpose, what is technology? Was the history of technology brought purposeful choices for man in his search for the ultimate good? Some tried to redefine technology away from its purpose. One philosopher by name of Martin Heidegger argued that its essence, or purpose, and being are different from each other. He was able to expound on this point upon identifying that technology can either be perceived as first, a means to achieve man's end, and second, that which constitutes human activity. The second perspective paints technology in such a way that each period reveals a particular character regarding man's being. A characteristic design, or flaw, unfolds based on the repercussions brought upon by immersing ourselves with a piece of new technology. In effect, through technology, a myriad of new questions begins to mount. Rather than thinking that humans have a clear idea of what to expect in a good life, it can be stated that technology allows humans to confront the unknown and see how they would react. This is not a good thing altogether though, for technological revelation is but one of the many ways to perceive the world. However, as long as humans are invested in growth and development, we cannot distance ourselves from this perspective. In the name of growth, we view the world as a field of resources, bent on attributing monetary value on seemingly priceless entities. We begin to categorize nature as renewable and non-renewable instead of seeing it as it is. Humans are reduced into the amount of productivity they are able to render during their lifetime, and our current mindset is geared toward which would utilize our own skills. A good life is one which is practical in essence, a life which makes use of our labor and which we get compensated fairly upon. It is no wonder that the sciences are one of the most sought-after courses, for the opportunities are plenty and the resources are bountiful. Since humans appear not to really know what they are seeking for, the search continues. It is a looming fear, however, that the path we are treading will not take us to be the right direction, leading us in endless circles instead in our pursuit of the good life. This is the danger presented by too much reliance on technology. humans lose track of things that matter, reducing their surroundings to their economic value. As this presents strong backing by the sciences whose reverence is also brought upon by our deluded enchantment with technology, it will prove to be a Herculean task to distance ourselves from this perspective and consider alternatives. After all, it was science and technology that gave us explanations, which worked for us and benefited us. Rejecting a working, tried and tested process seems foolish, more so, knowing that there are no options of equal value. It will be absurd to venture the dark and the unknown, but it should be done in order for us to retrace our steps to be able to achieve the good.
Technology is changing our world. Our devices allow us to do things that were previously unimaginable. But is that a good thing? Do our devices bring us together, or are they separating us? Or are we more alone? Are we more connected to knowledge, or just more likely to believe misinformation? We know that new technology helps save lives, but what about the health risks from being so sedentary? Are we more distracted, or are we more engaged? What are the effects of adding metrics to our social interactions? And what does it mean that you can publish anywhere at any time and share your voice with the world?